All right, happy tax day, everyone. Welcome to our press conference on the Balancing Act budget software. We're going to start things out with Mayor Bill Peduto.
Thanks, Tim. So whenever you go to the grocery store and you get all the stuff that you think that you need, as you know, you usually forget something, right? But at the end, as you're sitting there and you're paying out your money to the cashier hands you a receipt. And on that receipt, you can see everything that you purchased, how much did it cost, and what you are actually taking home. Yesterday, hundreds of thousands of Pittsburghers gave their hard-earned money in order to be able to have that opportunity to pay their taxes. But just like every other government, they didn't get a receipt. Today, we're giving them their receipt. Today, they're going to be able to see exactly what it is that they paid for and how much of it went to all of the different services that they paid for. But just as importantly, they're also going to be given the opportunity to say, hey, what if I were to add more to paving? What if I were to add more to police? What if I wanted more into our parks? And then giving them the opportunity to create their own budget, where their priorities are, and to be able to share that information with us. Imagine if you had a tool like that that allowed you to see specifically what it is that you pay for when you pay your taxes, and also give you the opportunity to create your own priorities of what you think city government should be able to put it as its priorities, and to share that information. In Pittsburgh, that is not a far out idea. It is the reality of what we have today, and today we want to share that with Pittsburgh's public.
Jim, would you like to make a few remarks?
Hi, everyone. I'm Jen Sooty. I'm the director of the Office of Management and Budget. The Office of Management and Budget is very excited to share this tool with our taxpayers. As the mayor said, this is a really kind of fun, interactive tool to be able to, and you don't usually hear fun in the same sentence as taxes and budgets, but it's a really fun tool to be able to go in, put in your annual income, the price of your home, and then what happens, and we'll see here in a minute, is you get a receipt, and it shows you all of the different ways in which your tax dollars are spent. In addition to the tax receipt, we also have the opportunity for taxpayers to go in and look at the operating budget and say, well, you know, maybe if it were me, I would put more to public safety, or I would, you know, put more to our Parks and Recreation Department. And then what happens is you kind of pull those different levers and you can see how much money you'd be spending on the different services that the city provides, as well as the capital budget. And so you can go in and say, maybe I want to spend more on bridges, and maybe I want to spend more in our parks, and to be able to pull those levers to see just how much of your tax dollars go to each different resource. And so with that, I think we'll have Kevin Paulus, who's our senior manager of the operating budget, and Dave Hutchinson, who's our senior manager for the capital budget, kind of walk you through the tool. And so feel free to ask questions at any time. We'd be happy to walk you through this.
Yeah, as Director Pizzuti said, we're going to use two simple inputs for this. We're going to use the median income for most Pittsburghers, and then also the median home value. Just inputting those two will give you back some detail on what the city is actually spending your money on. I think for our office, it's been a really good tool to be able to convey the value that city residents really get from the taxes that we put in. For each individual department, also, there's an opportunity to check out more information by clicking on the small eyes in there. Oftentimes, there's a description of the department that gives kind of in real terms what the department does, what their main focus is, how some of the money may be spent. The one thing that really helped us in developing this tool was working with Molly in the Office of Community Affairs. We worked with the Civic Leadership Academy to vet the tool. We really gave it to them, said what makes sense to you, what doesn't make sense, kick the tires, try to break it, what needs more detail. And for us, that helped break out of our shell of thinking of these documents that we work with every day, and to think more like citizens and understand how they want to see data represented in their government. Towards the top half is mostly the operating budget, so the actual departments, the employee salaries, things like that, some debt service and retirement benefits. Towards the bottom, we have our capital projects. These are also built proportionate to the 2018 capital and operating budgets. So each one of these represents a small portion of the actual budget that was published in December and that we operate off of for all of 2018. And then towards the very bottom, you can have an opportunity, as the mayor and Jen alluded to make your own budget. So if you want to check out the operating budget, there's some really great detail that Kevin built into it that shows the spending for each department. There's also an opportunity to see some of the decisions that we face in building these budgets. If you want to click on the operating. Sorry. And then it's broken out into some of the kind of larger categories for the operating budget. Within those, there's opportunities to check out some of the tougher decisions that Kevin and Jen and Sam get to make. Some decision points that help people understand kind of the implications of moving money around within the budgets. And then if you're to increase one of the spends, maybe increase Bureau of Emergency Medical Services. And if you go to the top, you'll see that the fund balance actually changes based on the decisions that you're making within the budget tool. And then if you want to go back to the capital budget, and it's very similar with capital. We operate using PAYGO funds, so for us, we're kind of always at balance. Within the departments, we try to build in decision points that we thought would be interesting for citizens or additional detail. Each one of these, like if you click on transportation, that'd be a good one. If you scroll down a little bit. So we wanted people to really understand what goes into the cost of things that we use every single day. So if you decide to upgrade 2 intersections, you can see how that's going to change. Each intersection in the city averages about $300,000. So for us, we have to deal every day with those changes to the budget. We have to find a way to balance things and to prioritize between a lot of different needs within the city. So for us, it's great to be able to share this information with the public and allow them to kind of see what we do. But also there's an opportunity, if you go down to the bottom, as the mayor and Director Peduto were discussing, you can actually submit the capital budget to us, and then this becomes part of data that we use in the capital budget building process over the summer. This, with each of the proposals we receive for the capital budget, we score them across a few different categories. One of the categories is demonstrated public support. So for us, this will become a really good data point for that demonstrated public support score.